Alright, so this is episode 8 of Shadow's House, season 2. A little bit of a recap. We saw Lou, Louise, Patrick, and Ricky go on their own little investigation. Louise learns that Lou is not just her face and not just an extension of her body, and perhaps Louise learns a bit that Lou perhaps could be her own person and could also, have burdens upon her body and all that. And Patrick, towards the end, realizes that he is indeed, or kind of comes to the confirmation that he is indeed in love with Amerigo. However, he's decided to keep this feeling inside of himself for the rest of eternity, which I suppose is a little bit sad, I'd say, as I teared up about it in the previous episode, but I do have my full-length reaction up on Patreon, which you guys can check out in the description down below. Other than that, let us get started and see the identity of Master Robe, I suppose. We're getting a little flashback to Margaret. Oh yeah, we also saw the twins towards the end. The twins are going straight back to the clinic or the hospital or whatever. Yeah. Margaret hopes do. Look, all I'm gonna say is that just because their hearts are twisted and ugly and all that, what does that make you if you wish that they disappear, Don't you think? Wouldn't that make your own heart a little twisted and ugly? I'm just saying. But she gives off, very, very unsettling vibes. But also, this girl is out here trying to court Patrick. How dare she? That's interesting that out of every recap that we could get in the beginning, we get that. I don't know about Louise being kind, but, Yeah, so another meeting of peers. And then this is when we see the twins. Okay. And then this is Gil and Gilbert, right? The slow-mo reaction. What? Where are they looking? Oh, the suit stalactites. Yeah, who's gonna have to clean that up? Sean's opinion, not John. Okay, the suit volume. Gilbert. Douglas! Yes, Patrick. Unfortunate for you. On the peer groups? Mm-hmm. Seems like nobody's. Of course. Hasn't come up. Wait, and as we had time, Patrick also looked into the marriage system. Okay, so they're gonna get into the marriage system. So Christopher's name hasn't come up. If he's become an adult, then he's probably older than those two, and we know that, they both know him personally. There's no way to predict anything. Alright. Yeah, the fuck? Alright. Okay, so cross him out. Ooh. Immediately rejects it. Damn you, Douglas! Mia didn't like the bells. Yeah, there's that also. Oh. Understandable. Alright. Ah, yeah, the punishment. Man's all dirty too. And that is because, let me explain. Oh yeah, he's learned yeah, his huh. It doesn't have to have high volume. Whoa, 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 whoa! Holy shit. Man really came in like a goddamn hurricane. He's like a storm. Oh my god, it was Margaret this whole time. No wonder they showed the recap. His deduction, dude. He's too fucking good. Alright. Oh, yeah, that's why he was hiding it. This shadow, specifically, this one. Imagining what? One face was clean? Has written 2 things onto this map. Oh yeah, he did take the map, huh? Team Braun is going to dig. I like that John recognizes that, you know, they're opposites of each other in terms of brains and bronze. The suit coffee? Virtuous. Oh damn, dude. Let's just pull their hood down. We need to pull the entire robe off. What a tall individual. Now I'm just thinking that it's just 2 people on top of each other. You're a special morph too? Yeah, she's been keeping secrets. Oh, she was born different. Because Oh. Putting assumptions in. Your memories remain? Yeah, so those tiny little things that you saw in the beginning of Shadow's house mimics its intelligence. Wait, hold on. If they mimic intelligence, what happened to John? What? And once that happens, their memories... Okay. Okay, them and Kate remembers. You haven't changed either. Compel your... Ah! Just want to let you guys know that I can barely see anything with the lights on. Hell yeah, stand up for your friends. She's thinking about all kinds of things. Look, John might not know what the fuck's going on, but he's here on your side. I'm with Sherry, right? Who is Victor? Oh. Kate knows who you are, alright? Alright, alright. Oh, shit. I had the thought in mind, I just... Oh my god, I just ended. I was over here all, like, in suspense. I was like, oh my god. Who is it? Even though I had an idea that was going to be Maryrose, because... I mean, why are we putting so much attention on her in the beginning and also the ending? But... Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm so surprised. So that's interesting. So we learned that Maryrose is also a special morph who remembers the days before she became a shadow, I suppose. I've been listening to this song on fucking repeat, like the full song. I love this ending. Alright. Hold on. Roses whose love has rotted, lock their feelings away. Is that Barbara? Because, you know, we've seen how Barbara was back in the days before, you know, she debuted? Okay. So, you know, now knowing that she is Master Robe, I'll have to just continue to look back on the ending and, like, the lyrics of it, just because I really like it overall in terms of the lyrics of the ending. But I mean, the opening is also made for Shadow's house as well. So I feel like I've already have a feeling of like what the opening is, but I'm still trying to figure out what is the ending in terms of like the lyrics. So it's nice to know that, you know, now we have the confirmation that Maryrose is Master Robe. So I'll take a look at it again in the next episode. So that'll be nice. Until then, I'll just continue to fucking listen to the ending, because goddamn, what a fucking nice... Alright, I'm gonna go back to the center. Alright, so that was episode 8 of Shadow's House Season 2. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. You know that I Always like talking to you guys. For me, I thought that this was a pretty nice episode, and I suppose in terms of the title, we've learned the identity of Master Robe. Wow, who would have thought it was Maryrose this whole time? Oh my god. I guess, hold on, let me just go back to the beginning. So, like, we've had the recap, right, with Patrick and getting this flower from Margaret. That was like a trigger for Sean to realize that is the sort of same smell as the perfume that Master Robe was using at that time, so that gave them another clue, which I suppose it's a rose, which is also something that we see in the ending, you know, with the red and blue roses representing Barbara and Maryrose. So we had that recap, right? And then after that, we see the aftermath of the twins and all that, and I suppose that gets Kate's little anger riling up, and we see how she bursts towards the end of the episode in terms of how she doesn't like the way that Maryrose is doing this whole situation thing. But anyways, we had the whole investigation at this point where John was late because he was being punished to clean the rooms, but since John doesn't really understand the whole thing about nobles and all that, he doesn't really give a shit that cleaning somebody's room is like a humiliating thing to nobles. As we saw, Patrick is just yelling at John, and John, as Kate says, he's a storm. He literally came in, said what he wanted, and then he's like, alright, I'm gonna go to the restroom and I'm gonna wash my face if you need me. But during this investigation without John, they've thought that perhaps it is somebody with a high suit volume who is able to, I was gonna say turn into scorches, but they don't realize that just yet. But they were just going by the list of high-level suits, and also the fact that everybody was surprised at the fact that Barbara and Maryrose debuted together. They're just kind of like, whoa, they debuted together, and also, whoa, they're the oldest shadows here at the current moment because they still haven't become adults yet. So eventually they ruled out most of the people on the high suit level list, and they figured that, or at least Kate figures that maybe it could be Sarah and Douglas working with each other in order to shake the Star Bearers and all that. And I do remember somebody in the comments talking about the potential that it could be Sarah, but I was just kind of over here like, I don't know. I don't really think Sarah would be the person who says this. But then Kate also said like something similar to that comment, and I was just over here like, I don't know. I feel like this is a red herring. When they were about to get that try to not a confirmation, but you know, try to deduct that perhaps it is Douglas and Sarah, and also with like the fact that the fact that Doug had grabbed Mia and used her as a shield. Perhaps that was just a plan for them to be like, oh, you know, I'm a victim and all that. Even though, God, that still pisses me off. Just the idea of Douglas and Sarah being like marriage candidates for each other. I don't know. I don't know why I'm so upset at that point. I guess it's just my internal hatred of Douglas. Well, no, Doug, technically. We haven't really seen too much of Douglas, but I've decided to hate him as well, since, I mean, you know, shadows and living dolls tend to be similar to each other, especially the people that are outside the peers, you know, Kate, Louise, John, and Patrick and all that. Anyways, as they pinpoint the suspect to be Sarah and Douglas, John comes in. He basically gives the idea that it doesn't have to be a high suit volume person. It could potentially be somebody who doesn't have a high volume of suit, and that scorches can only be turned into phantoms via your suit power and all that. So that scratches off the idea that the high-level people are probably the suspect and all that. And afterwards, that was when John and Sean went to the bathroom. That was when Sean realizes the flower, and they take it out. And so it makes them realize that, well, it makes Kate realize that perhaps this is not Christopher, so she crossed out that name since something about perfumes being different between adults and children and all that. So as Kate was trying to figure out the identity of Master Robe, Ameliko gives her another hint, which is out of everybody during that incident, one's face was clean, and it appears to be Rosemary. Which is also odd because Rosemary is also going through suit sickness, severe suit sickness. Which also adds in more to Kate's anger towards the end. And so they figure out where Master Robe wanted to talk to them, and this is where we learn about Special Morph. And we also learn about Kate's secret, since we know that Kate has been keeping something a secret, and we know that Kate was very different from the beginning because she had named Ameliko a completely different thing, you know? She literally could have named her something else. Well, not something else, but something similar to Kate. But we learned that Maryrose is also a special morph, and it's an interesting point when, well, she was still as Master Robe, she, not to say taunt, I was also thinking maybe it was like a projection sort of thing when she was talking about it with Kate. You know, it's like, oh, so you haven't told your peers about it. Does that mean that you're afraid that they might not follow you anymore if they find out that you're too cunning? Or that you feel like you are superior to everybody because you remember everything before you became a shadow? Kate was getting very upset at that, but she calms down a bit once John comes in to defend her, despite knowing absolutely nothing. Like I said, he might not know what the hell's going on, but he is in your fucking corner, which is just fantastic, you know? We love our dumb little boy. He's dumb, but goddamn is he loyal. It's also an interesting thing to see that Maryrose says, I have seen the mechanism by which Shadow House treats its living dolls as tools. And that's also something that Kate is upset with, you know? Like, well, you realize that the living dolls are humans, right? So why are you causing this disruption and hurting the living dolls specifically? But also, you know, having this hurt on the shadows who may or may not know any better because they're not special morphs like you, and they're also being brainwashed by Shadow's house. Kate wants to free people as well, but she doesn't want to take that drastic measure that Maryrose is doing. And it's interesting to wonder why Maryrose is doing this, other than, you know, perhaps for Barbara and all that jazz, which is also an interesting point when, you know, Maryrose says, like, why do you keep the secrets from your friends and all that? But at the same time, like, if she is peers with Barbara, albeit we don't really see them talk much to each other now, but we know that they were friends and they debuted together. You know, it's an interesting thing that, like, perhaps is she also keeping the secret from Barbara as well? Like, does Barbara know? So it does feel, as what Kate says, perhaps this is just Maryrose projecting onto Kate. Continuing to speak about the special morph, I do have a thought back on Shirley, because we saw a morph that follows Rum back in season 1, you know, when we saw Rum again, but as a veiled doll. You know, we saw that nice, well, actually no, it was the thing that helped them through the area in order to find Ameliko and all that, if I remember correctly. So, is that morph Shirley? I can only assume so, since it returns to Rum, and Rum seems to recognize it. So it's an interesting thought that, like, Shirley didn't perish, or maybe she did perish, but she left behind her morph, which now kind of makes me think, is she also a special morph as well? Since she seems to have her own consciousness despite being a morph and not, you know, being like a shadow anymore. But also the fact that Shirley, I don't think Shirley and Rum are related with each other, unless somebody proves me wrong that Shirley and Rum are two names that's related with each other. But it is an interesting thought when I remember thinking about Shirley and Rum, but also the fact that Shirley never really talked with Rum and she always stayed silent. And we had the, we had the thought of because Rum never really kissed her goodnight and all that, you know, that whole touch interaction that they need to do, that Shirley wasn't as developed as other people. And I don't know, it kind of makes me wonder if, like, Shirley was a special morph, and perhaps that's why she didn't really bother to interact with Rum as much. I don't know, I'm just tossing out some stuff because, you know, now that we know about the whole special morph thing, it's interesting. So, since she remembers, since she remembers that she's a special morph, it's really what an odd memory for you to think, because, like, she remembers from the get-go that Emiliko was a human and that she was looking at Emiliko and transforming into her, mimicking her and mimicking her intelligence. Albeit, again, I think the whole mimicking intelligence thing might be false for some shadows. I gotta say though, what a fucking flashy robe removal from Maryrose. Like, look at her. Why she gotta be so fucking flashy when she pulled her robe off like that? Then again, when she's in a robe, she can't be flashy, so when she pulls it off, she's gotta really do it with flair. Fantastic, Maryrose, fantastic. So I assume we're going to get a continuation of this conversation, or at the very least, a flashback to it if they skip forward. So, again, it'll be interesting to see the motive for Maryrose, other than, you know, the fact that she knows the truth about Shadow's house and she wants to break free of it, or she wants to just, I assume, you know, break free. I say, as she probably said it somewhere in the anime and in the episode, but I've just, you know, it's starting to get really hot in here, and my brain is starting to get fried again. If I have anything else to say, I will write it in the description down below. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I will see you guys in the next episode.